golden techniques in mental healings. When an engineer sets out to build a bridge or design a spacecraft, he or she approaches the problem with a known, familiar technique and a set of practiced skills and methods. These techniques, skills, and methods must be learned. In the same way, there are recognized techniques, skills, and methods for governing, controlling, and directing your life. These methods and techniques are primary. In building the Golden Gate Bridge, the engineers first had to understand mathematical principles, stresses, and strains. Second, they developed in their minds a visualization of the ideal bridge across the bay. The third step was the application of tried and proven methods by which the principles were implemented. When these three steps were completed, the bridge took form and generations of motorists began to drive across it. If you want your prayers to be answered, you must start with the proper techniques and methods. The way in which your prayer is answered is a scientific way. Nothing happens by chance. This is a world of order and laws. In this chapter, you will find practical techniques for the unfolding and nurturing of your spiritual life. Your prayers must not remain up in the air like a balloon. They must go somewhere and accomplish something in your life. Your subconscious will accept your blueprint. The most fundamental and the most far-reaching activity in life is that which you build into your mentality every waking hour. Your word is silent and invisible, nevertheless it is real. You are building your mental home all the time, and your thoughts and mental imagery represent your blueprint. Hour by hour, moment by moment, you can build radiant health, success, and happiness by the thoughts you think, the ideas you harbor, the beliefs you accept, and the scenes you rehearse in the hidden studio of your mind. The stately mansion upon the construction of which you are perpetually engaged is your personality, your identity in this plane, your whole life story on this earth. Get a new blueprint, built silently by realizing peace, harmony, joy, and goodwill in the present moment. By dwelling upon these things and claiming them, your subconscious will accept your blueprint and bring all these things to pass. The visualization technique. The easiest and most obvious way to formulate an idea is to visualize it, to see it in your mind's eye as vividly as if it were alive. You can see with the naked eye only what already exists in the external world. In a similar way, that which you can visualize in your mind's eye already exists in the invisible realms of your mind. Any picture you have in your mind is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. What you form in your imagination is as real as any part of your body. The idea and the thought are real and will one day appear in your objective world if you are faithful to your mental image. This process of thinking forms impressions in your mind. These impressions in turn become manifested as facts and experiences in your life. Architects visualize the type of building they want. They see it as they desire it to be when completed. Their imagery and thought processes become a plastic mold from which the building will emerge. It may be beautiful or ugly, a skyscraper or a one-story shack, but it begins as a visualization. The architect's mental imagery is projected as it is drawn on paper. Eventually, the contractor and construction workers gather the essential materials and the building progresses until it stands finished, conforming perfectly to the mental patterns of the architect. Mental movie method. As the old saying proclaims, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The fact must be stressed that the subconscious mind will bring to pass any picture held in the mind and backed by faith. Act as though I am and I will be. A number of years ago, I was in the Midwest on a lecture tour that took me to several states. I wanted to have a permanent base in the area so that I could serve those who needed my help. My travels carried me far away, but I did not forget the idea of a permanent base. One evening in Washington, I relaxed on a couch in my hotel room. I immobilized my attention. In a quiet, passive manner, I imagined that I was talking to a large audience. I said to those listening, "I'm glad to be here. I have prayed for this ideal opportunity." I saw that imaginary audience in my mind's eye, and I felt the reality of it all. I played the role of the actor and dramatized this mental movie. I felt satisfied that this picture was being conveyed to my subconscious mind, which would bring it to pass in its own way. The next morning, on awakening, I felt a great sense of peace and satisfaction. A few days later, I received a call from an organization in the Midwest asking me to take over as director. I did so, and I enjoyed several years of deeply fulfilling work there. One area in which the mental movie method seems especially useful is in selling property. If you have a home or property for sale, I suggest that you first satisfy yourself in your own mind that your price is right and fair to both you and the eventual buyer. After having done this, quiet your mind, relax, let go, and get into a drowsy, sleepy state that reduces all mental effort to a minimum. Now picture the check in your hands. Rejoice the check. Give thanks for the check and go off to sleep feeling the naturalness of the whole mental movie created in your mind. You must act as if this is already an objective reality. When you do, the subconscious mind will take it as an impression. Then the infinite intelligence will draw to you the buyer who really wants to have the property and who will love it and prosper in it. Through the deeper currents of the mind, the buyer and the seller are brought together. A mental picture held in the mind, backed by faith, will come to pass. The Badoying Technique. Charles Badoying was a professor at the Rousseau Institute in France. He was a brilliant psychotherapist and a research director of the new Nazi School of Healing. He discovered that the best way to impress the subconscious mind is to enter into a drowsy, sleepy state or a state akin to sleep, in which all effort was reduced to a minimum. Then the idea can be conveyed to the subconscious in a quiet, passive, receptive way by reflection. The sleeping technique. When you enter into a sleepy, drowsy state, effort is reduced to a minimum. The conscious mind is submerged to a great extent when in a sleepy state. The reason for this is that the highest degree of outcropping of the subconscious occurs just prior to sleep and just after we awaken. In this state, the negative thoughts, which tend to neutralize your desire and so prevent acceptance by your subconscious mind, are no longer present. Suppose you want to get rid of a destructive habit. Assume a comfortable posture, relax your body and be still. Get into a sleepy state, and in that sleepy state, say quietly over and over as a lullaby, "I am completely free from this habit. Harmony and peace of mind reign supreme." Repeat these words slowly, quietly, and lovingly for 5 or 10 minutes, night and morning. Each time you repeat the words, the emotional value becomes greater. When the urge comes to repeat the negative habit, repeat this formula loud to yourself. By this, you induce the subconscious to accept the idea and a healing follows. The thank you technique. The thankful heart is always close to the creative forces of the universe, causing countless blessings to flow toward it by the law of reciprocal relationship based on a cosmic law of action and reaction. The affirmative method. The effectiveness of an affirmation is determined largely by your understanding of the truth and meaning that underlie the words. In praying, use not vain repetition. The power of your affirmation lies in the intelligent application of definite and specific positives. Suppose a pupil adds 3 and 3 and puts down 7 on the blackboard. The teacher affirms with mathematical certainty that 3 and 3 are 6. Therefore, the child changes the figures accordingly. The teacher's statement did not make 3 and 3 equal 6. This was already a mathematical truth that in turn caused the child to rearrange the figures of the blackboard. It is abnormal to be sick. It is normal to be healthy. Health is the truth of your being. When you affirm health, harmony, and peace for yourself or another, and when you realize these are universal principles of your own being, you rearrange the negative patterns of your subconscious mind based on your faith and understanding of that which you affirm. The decree method. Power goes into our word according to the feeling and faith behind it. When we realize the power that moves the world is moving on our behalf and is backing up our word, our confidence and assurance grow. You do not try to add power to power. There must be no mental striving, coercion, force, or mental wrestling. Serve yourself with scientific truth. Be a mental engineer and use tried and proven techniques in building a grander and greater life. Your desire is your prayer. Picture the fulfillment of your desire now and feel its reality, and you will experience the joy of the answered prayer. Desire to accomplish things the easy way with the sure aid of mental science. You can build radiant health, success, and happiness by the thoughts you think in the hidden studio of your mind. Experiment scientifically until you personally prove that there is always a direct response from the infinite intelligence of your subconscious mind to your conscious thinking. Feel the joy and restfulness in foreseeing the certain accomplishment of your desire. Any mental picture you have in your mind is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. A mental picture is worth 1,000 words. Your subconscious will bring to pass any picture held in the mind backed by faith. Avoid all effort or mental coercion in prayer. Get into a sleepy, drowsy state and lull yourself to sleep, feeling and knowing that your prayer is answered. Remember that the thankful heart is always close to the riches of the universe. To affirm is to state that it is so. And as you maintain this attitude of mind as true, regardless of all evidence to the contrary, you will receive an answer to your prayer. Generate waves of harmony, health, and peace by thinking of the love and the glory of God. What you decree and feel as true will come to pass. Decree harmony, health, peace, and abundance.